Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, it's $2.79 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 2.2%. Oh, you're about to find out why I don't care in this video. Bitcoin 82,000 plus. We see 1,900 plus for Ethereum. XRP at the number 4 spot's $2.32. We're creeping back in the right direction. We're up 3.9 on the 24. Even though the whole market's off on the 7-day, we're off 10.5. Let's take a look at the range of price here, ranging between 214 and 232. Now, yesterday's bottom was at 209, I believe, when I called the number. So we're getting higher lows is what I see for the range. Maybe things are turning around. Ladies and gentlemen, you could join us in the Freedom Zone. Click that join button right there. Let me just say this. Just every day, for less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month, you get every daily video with 0 Google ads. That's worth the price of admission right there, for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. But I'm going to tell you, we have great conversations in there outside of crypto, as well as all the daily videos with 0 Google ads. Please join us in there. What a great way to support the channel for next to nothing. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is XRP Las Vegas, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing conference. We have incredible people. Please listen to this. Remember, Bitcoin Vegas is butted up directly to our conference. They're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're Friday, Saturday. Flights and rooms are going to get tough. Get yourself a ticket. Don't mess around. Come on.
We're getting closer to XRP Las Vegas 2025, May 30th and 31st. The markets are fluctuating, but there is a momentum for this industry never seen before, including the first White House Crypto Summit and multiple XRP ETF filings, as well as a statement from the OCC with positive news for the industry. You can experience real-time discussions with industry leaders and learn about this now rapidly moving industry at XRP Las Vegas 2025, the world's largest XRP conference at the MGM Grand May 30th and 31st, with an amazing speaker lineup with top industry leaders. It's been a long journey, but it feels like it's just the beginning. Celebrate with the XRP community May 30th and 31st at XRP Las Vegas 2025. Get your tickets now.
And I'm going to tell you, we're going to be giving away a $25,000 prize to a builder developer with the best idea. You got to go to EasyA and sign up to get more information. There's limited availability to win that $25,000 prize if you're a builder or a developer in this space. So don't mess around and go get that EasyA app and sign up for it. Let me tell you, this is going to be an incredible conference, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to want to miss it. And I'm going to show you before you get out of here today why you should be at every conference, because I'm about to blow your mind. Let's start right here. XRP to USD is now live on Binance. Come on in. Explore 50 plus USD trading pairs and counting on Binance US. Shout out to Binance US. They're obviously getting out of the regulatory nightmare they've been involved in for a while here, and X is coming back to the US, baby. I love it. And I want you to listen now. Jenny Johnson from Franklin Templeton, you know, 1.5 trillion assets under management, just filed for an XRP ETF. Listen to this quick clip of how she says that Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services and other businesses.
Through this. I think Bitcoin is up around 75%
tell us. Do tell, Jenny.
year-to-date, in fact. So how do we explain that and what's happening there?
So I tell people, I think the two biggest disruptors to any industry are going to be AI and blockchain, right? And then I follow it with Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is ultimately coming to financial services and other businesses. And that is not to say that Bitcoin has no value. Actually, it was someone in this region who pointed out to me that, you know, just the fact that the U.S. confiscated assets from Russia would drive people into asset classes like Bitcoin, because there would be a view that those assets could be outside of any government confiscating them. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin isn't going to have some value.
That's right. But what she is saying is that it's not going to be anything in comparison to the disruption to the financial services of the financial industry. And here she is saying the exact same thing again.
Say that one of the best opportunities now is cryptocurrencies, though crypto has had some problems. What do you tell people that say they want to be in cryptocurrencies? Do you offer the opportunity for people to invest in crypto through Franklin Templeton?
Yes, actually we do. So first of all, I always say that that Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is happening in financial services today. So I wish, because every time everybody gets in a conversation about crypto, it leads into a conversation about whether this currency, whether it's Dogecoin or Bitcoin, is of value. Forget that. That's like a religion. You either get a believer and a non-believer, and they're never going to agree. But blockchain as a technology and what it can do is going to be hugely disruptive. So not only is it going to be disruptive on traditional back offices and just create much greater efficiency, but disruption on business models.
Say that one of the best
And there
opportunities
you
now.
have that. So she's very consistent. Like I said, and Franklin Templeton just filed an XRP ETF, locked a you-know-what in. And then here we see this morning breaking here just a few hours ago. Ripple XRP receives approval from Dubai Financial Services Authority to provide crypto payments and services in the UA. Rather timely, don't you think? Matter of fact, some people actually, some would say that this is what flipping the switch looks like. Dubai Financial Services Authority giving the clearance for Ripple and XRP is a massive step for connecting an entire region of the world to finance in the new digital on-chain economy. This is getting so good, and it's about to get better. Nonetheless, we know this is Paolo Ardoino from USD Tether. You got to hear this. You got to hear it just for a well, look, first of all, this guy just...
Tether is the company that brought financial freedom and financial inclusion to hundreds of millions of people. I don't want to be or sound cocky or disrespectful, but we heard so much about financial inclusion, that was important and all that. This is the financial inclusion is the topic of the 21st century. But I believe there is no company, I mean, we are not an NGO, we are not a charity. Well, there are so many NGOs and charities that raise so much money to do financial inclusion, and we don't see them anywhere in the countries where we are. We did much more for financial inclusion with hundreds of millions of people than anyone else in the world. And while we are doing that, we are buying back the US debt. So right now we have around $115 billion of US treasuries. We are not a country, we are a small company, we are a small Tether. But if we were a country, we would be the 18th country in terms of ownership of US debt. So, and if you think about it, we also put the US debt, we make the US debt much more resilient, so that right now, for example, you had one single decision maker in China that 30 years ago, he had control over almost $3 trillion of US debt. And now, instead, they decided to sell good chunk of it, and now there is China has only 770 billion in US debt, and with the USDT that cannot happen, right? So we are every one of our 400 million users is a different brain, is a different mind, is a different person. So they will, all these 400 million people will not wake up one single day all together thinking, oh, now let's redeem Tether and so we can sell the US debt. No.
Okay. So this guy sells a digital version of the only product the Federal Reserve has ever had without permission or complying with the proper regulatory requirements, and travels all the way to America to condescend to all of us how great they are and how grateful we all should be. This market isn't fully regulated until Tether is sorted out. Write it down, lock it in. I'm telling you right now, I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but I tell you something. I'm not saying they go away completely, but I tell you what, for him to come here knowing full well that these guys have obfuscated regulatory compliance to a great degree. Remember this? This was just a week or two ago. Tether has appointed Simon McWilliams as the chief financial officer to lead a comprehensive audit, improving transparency and strengthening trust in its $232 billion stablecoin market. And they may have to make some changes, they're saying. We may have to make some changes to our portfolio. Really? Is that what it is? So by this news, Tether is finally admitting they have not been transparent as they have tried to argue in the past. Will Tether be able to right the ship in time for U.S. acceptance? That's the question. You know, by the way, I'm not done with you yet. This happened yesterday. And guess what? This is the Stripe CEO draws parallels between the stable coins and the petrodollar as mechanism that reinforce the dollar's dominance in the global finance. Now, where in the world have you heard that before? Where in the world have you heard that before? Now you're about to hear the CEO of Stripe say it. Now you know why I'm showing Paulo Ardoino. Take a listen to this very, very important clip here.
Allow for more innovation in the digital payments world, not constructing growth with a central bank for digital currency. So, Mr. Collison, does Stripe have any examples of customers using Stripe's stablecoin orchestration platform to break free from authoritarian governments or deflationary national currencies?
Thanks for the question. We see many examples of this. I think of the comparison to the petrodollar system, where starting back in the 70s, the series of agreements with Gulf states created an enormous new source of secular demand for dollars. We're seeing the same thing happening today in emerging markets, where people are taking enthusiastic advantage of this new liberty and this new capability where they can hold dollars and they can, again, get direct access to the world's preeminent reserve currency. I think this is a really big deal for global liberty and for global prosperity.
Quickly,
No, let's stop right there for a second. The CEO of Stripe just drawed a parallel between stablecoins becoming just as relevant and a replacement, essentially, of the petrodollar mechanism that allows the U.S. dollar to have the world reserve currency status. This is exactly what we talk about, is avoiding World War III by getting out from underneath that petrodollar agreement, but not losing, but in fact reinforcing in a stronger way the dominance for the U.S. dollar. One is stablecoins. Oh, we got more on this. All of this is tied together.
Let's committee feels strongly that the interact of a federal regime for stablecoin issuers will ultimately inhibit China's ability to control this space. We've seen countries around the world take action to establish national regimes for stablecoins. EU, Japan, UK, Singapore have all taken steps to establish the regulatory framework for stablecoins, recognize potential to modernize payments and enhance financial. So, Mr. Collison, again, quickly, as a global payments company, could you elaborate on how important it is for the U.S. to establish a federal framework to maintain U.S. competitiveness?
I think this is important for two reasons. One, there are the practical benefits for American consumers and for American business today. And I think it's simply on those merits worth putting forth a formalized federal framework that enables the stablecoin ecosystem here in the country. But then I think there's a second reason. I think this is what you're getting at, that while it is the case that an overwhelming majority of transactions today are in fact denominated in dollars, and that's enormously to the US's benefit, there is a risk that if the US adopts a posture of discouraging and inhibiting stablecoin adoption, that the rest of the market will respond and adapt. And perhaps we're here in 5 years and the preeminent stablecoin currency is euros or renminbi or some other global currency, and I think that would be to the US's detriment.
So do I, Patrick. So do I. Replacing the petrodollar system. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Stablecoins replace the need for the petrodollar agreement. What they haven't told us yet is that XRP will be used to underpin it. The real USD is the real USD, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I think we're about to learn some very big things. Remember, Stripe is one of the largest payment providers in the world today. They own a huge stake in Stellar, XLM. And what did President Trump say about anybody with BRICS or anyone in the world that wanted to ditch the US dollar? This is why I've told you BRICS plus ditching the US dollar plus tariffs equals a new on-chain digital economy, XRP-Ledger, and a few others. Take a listen.
If a country tells me, sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being in the reserve currency, we're not going to salute the dollar anymore, I'll say, that's okay. And you're going to pay a 100% tariff on everything you sell into the United States. And we love your product. I hope you sell a lot of it into the United States, but you're going to pay 100% tariff. He will then follow it up by saying, sir, it would be an honor to stay with the reserve currency. That will be like just playing. That's not even chess, that's checkers. But you don't have other, listen to this, you don't have other people that can talk that way.
There it is right there. Make no mistake. Tariffs, obviously to get domestic manufacturing back home, right? That's obviously a huge part of it. It's also being used as a tool and a weapon to tell anybody in BRICS or Project Sandman, you think about ditching the dollar and we'll tax you 100% tariffs to bring anything into this country, right? And that has immediately gotten Saudi Arabia to tell the president that we're going to put $1 trillion into the U.S. economy. That just happened a day or two ago. That is the power of tariffs. That is the power of understanding that all these things are not separate events. They are happening in a globally coordinated effort, and certainly a very, very coordinated effort directly from this administration about making sure that they protect themselves while they position the new digital on-chain economy for its launch. That's right. The U.S. market infrastructure to the world's new digital on-chain economy has not been revealed yet, but it's about to, and that's why they're having conversations about stablecoins. And I got to take you to another place very quickly here too. This is XRP Las Vegas 2024. Sitting on stage with the Honorable Giancarlo. I have got to bring you in at this point. You have got to hear this and then tell me that we were talking about this a year ago. And actually even more than a year ago. We've been talking about this for years on the channel, but with Giancarlo a year ago. Listen to this conversation and where we end up in it.
Russia conflict, when the U.S. SWIFT sanctions happening there, the rest of the world. I mean, who would have thought that Janet Yellen could be the greatest advertiser to join BRICS? Who'd have thought? Because they're not participating in this, and they think that the more they keep trying to clamp everybody down, it's really just telling everybody, but there is another choice. Yep. And that new choice is a payment system that is built by the BRICS coalition, Chris. And look, to your point about the dollar and how it became what it is, you know, the last 5 currencies that served as the world reserve currency, 2 of them, I think it was, if my memory serves me correct, Netherlands and Portugal, don't hold me to it, had a lifespan of 80 years. U.S. dollar is at 80 years right now. How much longer do we have? Can we, and I know the government, you know, nothing, then all of a sudden something, right? I understand that. But we are really facing something here, and how much longer can we sustain this moment we're in? It can't be sustained.
Throughout most of human history, almost all currencies have been grounded in some commodity. Whether the commodity was sheep or cattle, or clay tablets, or gold or silver, almost throughout all of human history, all currencies have had some grounding in some commodity, and by commodity, at least historically, has meant something came out of the ground. In fact, when the dollar went off the gold standard in the 1970s, many argue it actually went onto an oil standard, and that the dollar still remains grounded in some commodity. When we looked at Bitcoin futures in 2017, I, as the head of the US Commodity Futures Trading Commission, a commission that was created because the US government realized they could not put the new commodities of indexes on interest rates under the SEC because it was so essential for the dollar off the gold standard to have those interest rates priced in dollars. What do I mean by that? I should break that down a little bit. The reason why the dollar is one of the reasons why the dollar is world reserve currency is because you can hedge its movements against other currencies. You can hedge the movement of interest rates in deep and liquid markets based in Chicago with interest rate futures and currency futures. And so the US government created the CFTC, a separate agency, to safeguard that because effectively it safeguards the dollar's status as a reserve currency. When we were looking at Bitcoin futures, I saw it as the world's first digital commodity. Well, most of the world's commodities are priced in dollars. Oil, gold, silver, soybeans, wheat, the things that the rest of the world needs are priced in dollars, which means they need to hold dollars to buy those things they need. And I thought to myself, we're now going to have digital commodities. We better make sure they're priced in dollars as well. And when we think about the fact that the world has always grounded currencies in a commodity, is it such a leap to say that maybe in the 21st century, they might ground them in digital commodities?
That's the former CFTC chairman just said grounding currencies in digital commodities. We just had the president say they're putting Bitcoin in a strategic reserve and XRP, Solana, and ADA in a stockpile. There'll be others. This was a year ago.
Oh, El Salvador is already doing that.
Damn right.
And if the dollar, because of profligate money printing, people see it as unstabilized, and once again need to be stabilized with a commodity, could it be a digital commodity? It very well could. So we've done this grand experiment for about 60 years now of 50 years now of depegging the dollar from commodities. Well, we may need to repeg it to a commodity in the future to regain its strength.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
We may need to repeg the dollar to a commodity to regain its strength. That's the former Commodities Future Trade Commission chairman sitting on stage telling you that this guy's been working with the transition team with Trump, helping them pick. He helped them design the strategic reserve and stockpile. He's been a part of all of this. Keep listening. It's not over yet.
Well, Chris, that brings me to this. We talk about this quite a bit, me and my friends here, and when I think about what you referenced with the gold standard and then changing over to the petrodollar agreement, Saudi Arabia has started doing deals in Chinese yuan and showing that is not exclusive in honoring that exclusivity agreement for military protection for the United States, Chris. And when I think of that, I say to myself, to your point, I think you have to go to some kind of a digital tokenized commodity to back the dollar again. But again, you have to go another step further, and you have to underpin it with some kind of value protocol, if you might know one that we could use that would help track it all. You guys might know one? Because I feel like what the mistake could have been, dare I say it, is moving to a petrodollar agreement, even though at the time we had the power and strength to offer that military protection. In this day and age, now those countries have the advantage to dump that dollar in those bonds and harm all of us. But if we use what you're talking about and use a digital commodity to back the dollar and put it on a value protocol that just happens to have a decentralized ledger, right? Then we could underpin the dollar for the next 150 years. What say you at the digital dollar project?
So I say yes. And let's add.
He just said yes to using the XRP Ledger as a decentralized exchange to hold reserves and underpin the US dollar for the next 150 years. And then he adds this to it.
One other thing to that. Let's also win this war with our values.
Yes.
If China wants to make their digital yuan based upon surveillance, censorship, and control, go for it, guys. If Europe wants to make theirs on government censorship, but not commercial sensitive, because they're highly sensitive to commercial exploitation of data, but they're fine with letting government have the data, fine. The way we win this battle is we make sure that dollar-based digital currencies, whether they're run by the private sector or the government, must protect privacy, must protect economic freedom, must protect economic choice.
Absolutely. That's what we have to have, no doubt about it. By the way, if there is no better advertisement to get your ticket to XRP Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, this is just one panel. Things like this are happening all throughout the day. You won't believe it. The things we have lined up, the people, my goodness gracious, and where everything is moving now, you're not going to believe the conversations that are going to happen this year. Get your ticket, XRPLasVegas.com. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone, and boy, oh boy, are you going to want to hit that join button, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking, we're going to hear from Elon Musk today. And I tell you, and we're going to change gears and go into a couple topics. You need to hear it. Please join us. Click that join button and come on in.